Yeah, we should be waiting on Dell. Are we live?
They are live.
I can believe a lawyer being late. Them and teachers are never on time.
Thank you all for being here. We are going to wait just a couple minutes for council and our remaining board member. The expectation is that they should be here very, very close. In the meantime, I'll remind everybody that we are live on the worldwide web. So, how y'all doing?
You still call it that?
I don't know what
They call it the internet now?
It sounds important anyways.
Lenny, remember. Turn your phone off. Did you turn your phone off?
Did you call it?
Not yet.
No, I got it
If
off.
I'd have remembered mine at the house.
I was going to leave it back here in the room, but I
text
did
Dell?
turn it off.
I texted both of them.
Okay.
No response yet.
Then we'll give them 5 minutes.
Because we can take care of
Yeah, we
the
can go
initial
ahead.
part of the
Yeah,
agenda.
That's fine, and I can put on here when they come in. It's fine.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Let's take care of our housekeeping business and that sort of stuff, and then we'll pause maybe for a minute.
Don't you have to do
Thank
roll
you.
call though?
Yeah, that's what we're going to do.
All right, we'll call this meeting for the Lawrenceburg Redevelopment Commission, March 9th, 2026, meeting to order. Can I get a roll call, please?
Yes, Executive Director Brian Messmore,
Here.
President Brian Johnson,
Present.
Vice President Lenny Fryman,
Here?
Secretary Kevin Schaefer is absent for the moment, Member Janie Wilson,
Here.
Member Rudy Ramey,
Here?
Lawrenceburg School Board Member Aaron Shepard,
Here.
and City Attorney Del Weldon, absent as well
All right.
At the moment, yeah.
at the moment.
So, has everybody had a chance to review the minutes that were supplied from the previous meeting? If so, I would entertain a motion to approve this.
So moved.
Motion to approve those?
Mr. Ramey first, second.
Second.
Ms. Cheney. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Announcements, Mr. Messmore.
Let's, no new additional announcements. Let's just continue with the financial report and new business, please.
Yep.
Mr. Johnson.
Financial report, Ms. Hermish.
Yes, as of March 2nd, 2026, the balance for redevelopment is $1,630,810.85.
All right, thank you.
Welcome.
All right, going into new business, we're going to talk about 542 West High Street. Mr. Messmore?
Yes, this is for 542 West High. Obviously, if you recall, a few weeks ago, we did a similar waiver for somebody who had participated in our first-time homebuyer program and was a recipient of a grant. With that grant, if they have to remain in their home for 3 years. If they were to sell, then they would have to pay us back, proportionately to the time they didn't live there. That's not the case here. This is similar to the way it was last month. The residents at 542 West High are refinancing, and in order for that refinance to take place, we need to acknowledge that it's okay. And we will sign the waiver so that their grant continues to work under their new mortgage. The time frame the 3 years don't change, if that makes sense. So we'll be looking for a motion to do that.
All righty, any questions for comments from the board? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Fryman, second.
I will second it.
All right, Mr. Ramey. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, next thing we have on new business is the April reporting that is required for the Lawrenceburg Redevelopment Commission.
That is correct, and this is
Mr. Messmore.
prepared on an annual, thank you, this is prepared on an annual basis by Reedy Financial Group, and this just This is largely a directive to, you can come on in, Kevin. Report the status of our TIF areas and who the members are, what our financial position is, and all those things that's required on an annual basis. We do not need to take any action on that, I do not believe. It's just there for your reference and completing a requirement under law for redevelopment commissions.
Right.
And it's in your packet for review. If you have any questions, obviously we can entertain them at
Any
the next
questions or
meeting.
comments from the board regarding the review that was sent by Reedy? All right. Moving on. Next, we're going to be talking about the 98 East High Street presentations.
Kim, may I interrupt for just 1 second, please? We have the Main Street report in our packet. Becca, you're welcome to stay, but you don't have to stay till the very end where I say it's in your
Get
packet,
her out of here before
in case you need to go somewhere.
So under old business, we're
Yeah.
doing the Main Street report.
Yeah, and again, the Main Street report is included in your packets, as always. Very well done, very well defined. And again, they manage our grant program, administer our grant program here in the generally speaking, the historic district, so.
If any of the board members has any specific questions for Becca, you can bring them up now. If not, I think everything looks status quo, and it looks like everything's going well as it should. So unless anybody has any questions, I say
Do
we,
you have any comments?
or comments.
Okay. All right.
We'll go ahead and move on from that, from the Main Street report, from old business. So Becca, you can leave if you'd like, or you can stay.
I want to hang out if that's okay.
Yeah,
All right, next.
looking for a new partner.
We'll go back to, bounce back to new business here, and again, we're gonna talk about the RFP for the 98 East High Street presentations. And we've laid out a list of order here, so we're gonna go ahead and give each company option to give 15-minute presentation, and just basically summarize your guys' RFP to the board. And while we are going through the presentations, we would ask that the other presenters would wait out into the lobby there. So we would like to do it each company individually. And that way, any questions or comments from the board, we can address them as needed. So we're going to start off with the Stronghold Group. And then, excuse me.
Yeah.
And then the Sweeney, Detmer, Schroeder, and Rezo, we would like to ask you guys to wait in the lobby, please.
Please. And, you know, the purpose of this is, whether it ultimately makes any difference or not, I don't really know, but the purpose of this is, because of the nature of the questions, not to give an advantage to a later presenter. That's why we're doing this. It's not,
Oh, okay.
that's the only reason.
I wondered.
I don't know if it's a good reason.
I wanted to see their ideas.
Well, yeah. It's a public meeting. It's a public meeting.
Either way,
Yeah, it's
I'm not
It's a
concerned
public
with it.
meeting. We just, you know, for this professional piece.
It's on the World Wide
And then
Web.
once you're complete, yeah, you could watch it simultaneously.
Yeah, no worries.
Once you're complete, in my opinion, you're welcome to stay.
Okay. Oh, that makes sense. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we went first.
All right, well,
And I will just remind everybody that we have had the packets since last Thursday. Kelly Hermish has done a fantastic job of corralling all of this information, fielding questions along the way. And I very, very, very much appreciate her hard work. And, you know, I couldn't do it without you, so.
I tried not
Appreciate
to bug you too much.
And so we have reviewed these. You know, this is your 15 minutes to tell you who you are, what you've done, and why this is a unique opportunity for us.
Okay. Yep. You ready
please
to go?
start.
All right.
Kelly's got the time.
Yep.
She'll let us know
Well,
when
we
there's
won't
5
be
minutes
15
left.
minutes, but it's
Good.
okay.
I really don't have to say your time's almost up.
Yeah. Most of you know who I am, Kristen Strong with Strong's Pizza down the street. The Strong's Holding Group is the company that owns the building down the street. This is my daughter, Sydney. She will be, if we are awarded this, she will be purchasing this building with me. And this is a longtime friend and partner of mine, Bill Asiri. He's going to get up and speak about Wits a little bit, and that's our plan, is to put a Wits frozen custard in there. He will give you all the details on that, so I'm not even going to go into any of it. But the idea is we are heavily invested in Lawrenceburg. We've been here for 10 years. We don't plan on going anywhere. That's why she's a part of this now. We're just going to get the family into it. And then on top of that, I think we need another family-friendly establishment. And that's what that's going to be. Wits draws a crowd, and like I said, he's going to speak on it quite a bit. But it is a family-friendly establishment. It's a destination, okay? And then on top of that, it'll all go in with us at Strong's. It's the same type of operations. Now, it's going to be one of his stores, but it's the same type of operations that you guys know that we handle. We will handle the building the exact same way. Jamie's going to be my facility manager, just like he does down at the 1 through 9 in the Walnut Street building apartments that we have. But I did want to bring her into this because she is a partner with Pizza Boy LLC, which is our Strong's Brick Oven Pizza group. And, you know, down the line, I want her invested in Lawrenceburg as well. We started here 10 years ago, and I mean, it's been great. You know, and I remember when we got down here, we didn't have anything down here, but now look at the place, you know, and I feel like we played a big part in that, a big part in the growth of downtown. And then with everything that Main Street does and everything you guys have done, just to bring it all to that corner, it's turned out really nice. And that's what the allure to him was. When I reached out to him and I said, hey, what do you think a Wits would do in downtown Lawrenceburg? And as soon as he drove over here, he was like, absolutely. So I'll let him. This is Bill Asiri. He'll give you everything about Wits. He is the owner of the Wits Company. And like I said, I've known him since he was 18 years old. We've been friends forever. This is our first time partnering on anything.
16.
Or 16, actually. I hired him when he was 16. But he'll tell you about everything he does now. He has an enormous portfolio of restaurant groups that he handles. Okay, but I'm going to turn it over to him because the Wits is the important factor of this building. All right? Come on, daughter. Yep.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Christian. Yeah, he was my first manager at the age of 16. I grew up in Covington, Kentucky, and just needed a job. He was running La Rosa's Pizza at the time and gave me a chance. And it's cool now that, you know, he has Strong's Pizza. We actually own the majority market of Donato's Pizzas in the market. So it's really cool to have, I own Pizza Brands, he owns Pizza Brands, but our relationship has stayed together because, you know, at the end of the day, this whole Northern Kentucky, Cincinnati, Lawrenceburg, you know, Indiana, this whole tri-state is just a really cool area, and I love stories like us. So, yeah, Bill Asiri, I live in Independence, Kentucky. I did want to start and say thank you to each one of you because I was actually a city council member in Independence, Kentucky for 8 years. And at the time, during my tenure, I stopped in 2020 because of all the stuff with COVID. I was like, I can't wait to get out of here. It was a hot mess. But during that time when I was in there, we actually got rid of our local planning team, and they went to PDS, which is like Kenton County's zoning. So they handle like the entire county. I voted no to that because I didn't like giving up the reins of this kind of stuff because it really matters for your city. And Independence was a growing city. It's grown like crazy. Lawrenceburg is very similar, and please don't ever give that up. I would tell your city council members, don't ever give that up because I think it changed the outlook of Independence. So just wanted to say, I think what you guys are doing here with having, you know, your interest in it really matters. So, yeah, so a little bit about me. Like I mentioned, we own 22 Donato's Pizzas in the Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky market. We have 2 Wits frozen custard locations ourselves, and we also have Guthrie's Chicken. My business partner, Mike Ash, and I have been best friends since kindergarten. So as you can tell, we're big on long-standing relationships, just like with Christian. And we ended up buying the Wits Frozen Custard Company last year in March. So we have 92 locations. I'm the CEO of the company. Kind of stumbled into it. I got to know the family well that owned Wits and really love the product, really love the brand, and said, hey, if you're ever wanting to sell, please call us. And they called me, and to our surprise, we got a chance to buy it. So it's really neat for us that the home of Wits is, you know, just right here and right there in Northern Kentucky. And we're really wanting to grow things with the brand. We see a great opportunity with it. But what's neat about Wits is it's kind of got 2 different paths right now. We have a path where we're growing like in Florida, Alabama, Texas, hot markets where there's more tourists. But where we got our start and where I see us fitting in here is real small town, like small town USA. I say that as an example of just last Friday, I was in Marion, Ohio. I don't know if anybody knows where Marion, Ohio is. It's about an hour north of Columbus. Very small town. I literally drove into the city for opening day. It was like, man, this is like small town USA here. Very similar to this layout. And that's really where we thrive in markets like this. So if we're not going to like the beach for our frozen custard, we like cities like this because it's walkable. It's community driven. I'm a big community guy, so that really ties into what we like to do. So when I saw Lawrenceburg, when Christian first mentioned it, I was like, well, I don't know, Lawrenceburg. I haven't really seen downtown. So when I pulled in, like he said, I was like, man, this is like the perfect spot for a Wits. So 15 to 20 employees is probably what we'd bring to the table. As far as like investment goes, we would like to really clean up the building. We'd probably dump $150,000, $200,000 into it with some new signage, some new flooring, some new painting, all new equipment. We want to do it right. We feel like this would kind of be our flagship for our Indiana. This will be our first location in Indiana. We've already talked to Fisher's up in Indianapolis. They want to sign. They have an LOI right now. I'd love to beat that. That's a different franchisee that would be, working with me as a franchisor. But I'd love to beat them, and so it'd be multi-owned, right? I'd be the franchisee, but I'm also the franchisor. So it's kind of a cool relationship there that we'd have with this location. So, yeah, that's kind of just what we do. I think that this really fits into what we're doing. I did bring some samples of our product for those of you who don't know what it is. Frozen custard is just a little more dense of a product than ice cream. It holds a little warmer than ice cream, so they say it's creamier. My family and I can't really eat graters anymore. We love graters, and then we bought Wits and don't really eat graters anymore. We love Wits too much. So it's a really good product. Everybody raves about the product. We make everything in-house fresh daily. So that local, hey, we make it fresh daily, I think really plays into what we're trying to do too here, because I know you guys really like that mom and pop feel and that hometown, and that's what we tie into. So we do 3 flavors every week. We do vanilla and chocolate every day. Then we do a flavor of the week that we rotate every week. We do specials sometimes. We do custard sandwiches, ice cream cookies, dipped bananas, just your typical fare. We have entertained the idea, if we do get awarded this bid, of possibly bringing in some small novelty foods like hot dogs or chili dogs or something. Obviously, we'd like to talk to you guys about that if need be, and talk to Christian and get his opinion on what could work or what would work. A lot of our small town Wits do that. They sell pulled pork sandwiches or hot dogs, or they just really try to tie in the community. So any questions on the brand or any specifics on what we would be hoping to bring to the table?
Where's the nearest location?
That's a good question. Probably I would say, Independence, Kentucky, we have a location that's probably 30 minutes from here. We have one in Highland Heights, Kentucky, up by NKU. There's really none in downtown. There's really none in the Cincinnati, 275 ring, because I own the rights for that. And when I had the inkling that I was going to buy the whole company, I didn't want to put money into the former owner's pocket. I wanted to just wait. So now we're kind of attacking again. I don't come over this way often myself, so I never really thought about Lawrenceburg until I pulled up here and was like, oh my gosh, this is like the perfect spot for a Wit. So I'd say 30, 40 minutes is probably the closest spot right now we have. We have one in Trenton, Ohio, outskirts of, Lebanon, Ohio, which I don't know if you guys have been to Lebanon, downtown Lebanon, very similar to this. And that store is a $700,000 a year location. And what's neat about Wits for me is every time I go to if I go to a conference, if people see the logo, they go, how many Wits are there? And they always think there's 1, 2, or 3. They all think it's local branded, because we do a really good job trying to make that feel that we're a mom and pop. Even though we're a franchise and we're a growing franchise, we still don't want to ever lose that allure that, our owners, you can only own 3 Wits. You can't own more than 3, because we don't want somebody to own a big conglomerate of them and be out of touch with their store. So we try to keep that mom and pop feel. So.
Any other questions from the board?
Ingredients?
Ingredients?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we bring all of our product from a company called Ohio Processors. They're based out of London, Ohio, small area. They do all of our mix. Eggs. So egg is the big differentiator between ice cream and custard. But then, your normal stuff like sugar. I don't even know what all goes into it, to be honest with you. But whatever goes in ice cream plus egg is kind of the main thing for us. But everything's already ready to go. We have our own proprietary mix that they make for us and ship to us directly. Then we use Cisco for all the rest of our products. So we'll have them bring us our cookies, our sprinkles, our toppings, stuff like that. So.
And you guys, while you're listening to these presentations and kind of thinking about what questions to ask or what's important, please make sure you're using those score sheets, because that's what we'll collect at the next meeting on Thursday to determine how you've scored them and how you've broken down all of those categories.
I don't know about timeline for how this stuff goes. I'm kind of leaning on him for that. But we would love to be open by May, because we want to hit the ground running if we have the chance to get open for summer, because that's really when our peak volume is, as I'm sure you guys can imagine. But my 2 locations that I own with my partners in Independence and Highland Heights, they're in with the Donato's Pizza. So I don't want to say they're an afterthought, but they're like kind of secondary to our pizza. This would be our only like standalone Wits. And I think we would lean really heavily. I'd be over here probably more than my wife would like, because it would be our own Wits full standing, which I've never owned myself. So I'd be excited about that too. I do want to share that as well. So.
I want to throw one thing into what he said too about when I asked him, and he said, you know, he doesn't come to Lawrenceburg. If you remember back in the day when we showed up here, it was the same idea. I think somebody was on the council that worked for me years in the past at La Rosa's, and they said, hey, do you want to go to Lawrenceburg? And I said, why in the world would I do that? Because I never came, my parents lived in Sunman, but I never turned down here. And then when we came down, and I was like, I was scared to death, because, you know, it was daytime, nothing going on. And then the moment we popped the store open, I mean, went crazy. And that's been our heaviest volume store with all of our openings. It always has been. And I always attribute a lot of that to the Main Street and everything you guys do, because like I was trying to explain to him how it works throughout the year and throughout the summer with the concerts and the car shows and the parades, and it's like nonstop action down here, you know. And when we opened our store up on Bridgetown Road, West Side, which Sydney handles, I said, you know, she says, this one going to rival Lawrenceburg? And I said, well, it should, but it doesn't. You know, I mean, it's close, but the fact is there's always so much going on. And the difference with the Wits is it's a destination, you know, like people look to go to it. And that's one thing, like same way, we've known each other forever, and every time I'm in Wits, I have to send him a picture and say, hey, we're here again. You know, here we are again, but I mean, because it's delicious. But like he said, it's got that mom and pop feel, which goes with downtown, because that part of downtown's never changed, and that's what I love about it. That's why I said, let's bring something new down here that's gonna get families down here from the water park and all that, and all the kids events and things like that, because I'm telling you, once people get their hands on it, it'll go crazy. And the idea of like what they do too with their smaller items, like your sandwiches, your grab and go items. You know, they'll
Pints,
make
quarts.
pints, quarts. They have grab and go, so you just walk in, grab them out. And that's something that I really think's alluring down here, is because people can just run in and grab what's the sandwich called?
A Witty.
A Witty. Yeah. Witty.
2 chocolate chip cookies with Wits in
Yeah,
between.
and then you have the Witzers, which is kind of like a blender, but a lot of the things you can walk in and just grab and go, and that's what I really love about it. And not to mention, I mean, it's absolutely you'll see, it's absolutely delicious, you know. But yeah, I didn't mean step on your toes.
No, you're good.
But the same feeling when I asked him, and he said, I haven't been down there in a long time. You know, I don't know what's down there. I said, well, come on down, you'll see it.
And to be honest with you, we weren't really looking to expand, because we've been, and as far as the Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, Indiana market, we were really focusing on growing the Wits brand elsewhere south. But when I came here and I was like, man, how do I say no to this? This checks all the boxes of getting us back into a small town market. So it was kind of like, I don't know. And then once I knew that his family is there, because we didn't want to have this be just another box in our portfolio. I don't want you guys to think that, because that's why we're not actively trying to grow in the Cincinnati market. We haven't opened up a Donato's in 3 years. We haven't opened up a Guthrie's in a while, because that's not really I want to be present where I'm at. So this one is like, if I can have him, and I've already asked him, like, hey, can I lean on some of your employees to like check on the store? Because the last thing we want is just to be one more, you know, portfolio for us, and it does okay. We want it to do exceptional, and I know they'll have a set of eyes on it as well as us, obviously.
Yeah, you'll see
So.
intermingling with marketing and things like that, you know. All that.
Yeah, can you talk more about the advertising? I'll
1 minute,
use my
60
time. But it seems like
I'll be quick.
what this proposal offers that's unique is that will be plugged into your national advertising. So you talk about that. How would the little city of Lawrenceburg be advertised as this location, and that would stretch out
Yeah.
across the country, I guess?
Yeah, we're a $50 million top-line company, Wits Frozen Custard is, and I think I say that because Lawrenceburg will be the first location in Indiana for us. We're in 11 states now, so this will be our 12th state. And, of that, we probably spend $700,000 to $800,000 a year in advertising. So I was just interviewed by Reuters last week, so a national brand, our national, company talking about Wits, and be nice to see Lawrenceburg being mentioned when they reach out to us right now. I think that they see my combination of, I've been working since I've been a kid, and I'm relatively young. I don't feel young, but still relatively young and growing pretty rapidly. So we're getting some attention from that, and I think it'd be awesome to see Lawrenceburg on that map with us.
So that would be a part of your
100%.
marketing spend,
Yeah.
is to advertise Lawrenceburg, drive people to Lawrenceburg.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we-
got big reach with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last thing I want to close with, I know I'm close on time, is I'm really big into like middle schools, high schools. Like I love my high school staff my chief people officer always says, don't call them kids, but I always call them kids. I love my kids that work for me. That's really like the most exciting part, because that's how I started. And we want to lean into your guys' high school as well. So I think that it becomes a destination where like their first dates are there. After the football games, they all come to Wits. Like we see that in these small town markets, and I think we could do the same thing for you
We have
guys. So
30 seconds.
I'm done.
30 seconds,
What
sure.
he does, what he's done scares me to death. But he is still their type of owner, But I've never met somebody more community-driven than he is. I mean, he puts on a giant haunted house, for God's sakes, every year. A giant.
Just for the
haunted-
community.
I mean, just for the community. He
Yeah.
puts it on at the fairgrounds in Kenton County. And then this year, he moved it to a big facility where he owns batting cages and things like that, and turned it into a giant haunted house. I mean, I've never met anyone in my life that does more for a community than he does. And we like to reach out. We like to try to get into things. But the amount of time he spends on that's why I always ask him, how do you run your businesses when you're at a haunted house every night, making sure that thing's running all through the whole season? It's crazy what he does, but,
We have good people that work for us,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we would make sure that our manager here is a great, I prefer it to be somebody from Lawrenceburg, honestly. So when, if we're awarded this, we'll be putting out there, hey, we want to hire local. I don't want to bring somebody from Kentucky, or I want to have somebody from Lawrenceburg. That's the goal. So
but yeah,
hiring's the hardest part, but we'll see.
yeah.
Good, thanks, guys.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hours of operation and
11 a.m. would probably be when we open. We have some stores that do coffee, so I haven't talked to him about that either, but some stores do coffee, and then we usually close around 9 or 10, kind of depending on traffic.
6 days a week.
7 days, we would be 7 days, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments from the board?
We don't have that a lot in Lawrenceburg.
All right, well, I appreciate your
Thank you.
time, and thank you for your presentation. I guess you guys are free to go if you'd like,
Downtown, like,
unless you want to go stand in the lobby with your competition.
While he's walking out, it's just, flashback of 10 years ago, Christian and I and the mayor walked around town with our hands on the windows looking for a good place,
Yeah.
and he said, I want to go right there. So that's how it all started.
Because after we left that day, I got a call from, can't remember his name, but he called her, and then she called me. Hey, you want my spot on the corner? And I said, well, I've never been in it, but absolutely. Because I had seen it, but I'd never been, and I was like, absolutely, we'll take that one.
Well,
All right, we're
appreciate
on.
your time, but
Let's
we're going
keep
to ask you
moving.
to step out
I'll step
as
out.
well.
Yeah,
And then,
Oh, I thought.
thank you guys for your time.
thank you.
Oh, you have samples? That's so wonderful.
You can just get this back to Christian, so you guys
Sure.
can have that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
very good.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, you guys are up, and you guys are the Sweeney Group from 3rd and Main, so we'd like to go ahead and have you guys proceed.
Sure. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to review the proposal and listen to what we have to say here today. If there's any questions, please let me know. I'm not sure how these usually operate, but if I can answer anything for you, or maybe like make something make sense that you didn't understand when reading through the packet, please ask. We're going to spend the first couple minutes just going over a little bit of my background and Corey's background as well. I own 3rd and Main restaurant down in Aurora. We've been there for about 15 years. I did start it with my family. It's now a sole proprietorship. I also own Primal Butchery, which is a meat shop down there in Aurora, right next door. That started about 5 years ago after COVID. A lot of businesses learned a lot of lessons during that period, and being able to give, meat out, sell meat out, I should say, kind of was a way for us to survive a really tumultuous time. I also just started a meat distribution company, so that's my newest project, and I think I have a problem with opening businesses because here I am today. So that's kind of my background. I know a big part of that packet was working with historic buildings. My building was built in 1850, so if I had $1 for every time I opened up a wall and ran into an issue, I'd probably have $736 at this point. So very familiar working with historic properties. There's not many construction issues that I can't solve. I've got a really nice network of people I've worked with. So yeah, that one should be covered, but I'm gonna let Corey talk for a little bit.
Hi, everybody. My name is Corey Boehm. I'm actually a residential real estate team lead that operates out of Ohio and Kentucky, but I primarily do multifamily renovations and property management for residential spaces in northern Kentucky. I've been down there for about 15 years now. I currently own and operate 54 units that I own myself, and I've got another about 100 or so with partners. So that's kind of my expertise in this endeavor, is managing the residential tenants, making sure things are up to code, making sure everything is, kosher, and also to speak on my own experience in the historic reconstruction. Obviously, in Covington, you run into all these. Every building I have is 1890 or prior, pretty much. So again, same thing as far as we have a lot of familiarity with making sure these buildings are safe and secure, and the redevelopment side of things is very much something that I would very confident that we're fully capable of. But yeah, that's kind of my expertise in this endeavor would be the kind of the residential management side and making sure those, we're not disturbing tenants, we're making sure everything is where it needs to be from those perspectives.
Okay, now the fun part. So hopefully all of you had time to review the packet. A lot of people in the community have told me that they feel that there's a need for more take and eat products, or something quick and easy for lunch. Obviously, everybody has different feelings about what they want. I think if you just tried to do a standalone concept of that, it might not work in that space personally. So that was kind of why, as I was brewing up this project, I came up with the sort of ice cream thing. One thing that I really like about it is that it's going to be sort of family friendly in a sense. I know a big part of this parcel is it's right by the Music on the River. So like supplementing that with like some alcoholic ice cream shakes, I thought was kind of a fun idea that is able to be something that families can enjoy, but also adults when there's music on the river. So, and that whole thing. I've been working with a guy out of Florence as of recent it's called Colonel's Creamery, and his ice cream is to die for. Sometimes it's good to leave people to doing one thing that they're very good at. I let him make all the ice cream products that I've been selling at 3rd and Main and Primal, so I'm very confident in the quality and him being able to keep me supplied. I think it's cool to support local businesses. It's important to me because I'm a small business, I'm a local business. Anytime that I can get a product in that is bought from somebody in the tri-state area, I think it's important to support each other. And I know that was a big part of the RFP, emphasis on that, and I feel that way before reading that damn thing. So, I think one thing that I'm excited for is to use my more fine dining expertise of all this high-end food that, for those of you that don't know me, I'm a pretty down-to-earth guy, so it's kind of weird to do high-end food when you're pretty humble and down-to-earth. I'm really excited to use all that expertise in a more low-to-the-ground format. I think by having a concept that is a little more quote-unquote lowbrow or just something approachable for everybody, I think it gives it a higher success rate as well. I don't want to come into a space that small and try and do anything like too high-end. I think that you can elevate things without, getting a little too hoity-toity. And frankly, too, with the environment, the square, all that kind of stuff, I think that would give it the highest success rate. Does anybody have any questions so far? No one? Everybody's good? Okay. So Rendezvous was a name that I came up with for it. I'm, willing to change that if it's something that maybe doesn't feel right. But when coming up with a concept, it's kind of hard to come up with a concept and then develop the design around it. I found that poster as I was doing a Google search for the word. Full disclosure, I've never watched that movie, but I probably should if I'm going to pull this off. But I just thought it sounded nice, you know, a place where people meet. It's right on the corner. And then I really liked that poster, so I started kind of pulling color schemes from that as I'm developing. I haven't gone down the full rabbit hole of designing the space, what I would want specifically, but I did see some concepts online that I thought would work really well in there. You know, that would be more for an architect to decide, but as I've developed my business, I spent a lot of time, you know, just sort of piecemealing it together. A space like that is very small. I would like to be a little bit more precise and concise on how it ended up. As far as the financial portion of that packet, it is really tough to do any sort of projections without looking at the books for the previous owner and maybe interviewing them a little bit. I think I was very conservative in there on like the numbers that we could do in that space. I'm not sure how important that is to you guys, but ultimately starting a new business, it's usually going to be pretty low to the ground for that first year until you really start kicking your marketing on. You know, you need time. As somebody that opened a business in this area 14 years ago, it took about a year or two to really catch on and start sticking. So, you know, I think getting through a couple seasons through the party Music by the River, all that jazz, like would really do a lot of good for marketing, people knowing about it, that kind of thing. But it is very hard to come out with out of the blue, you know, expectations on what it would do. I think that number was conservative, it was somewhere around the 330 mark. I think super realistic to do 500 to $1 million within the first 2 to 3 years, depending on business and as long as, you know, people are out and about, that kind of thing.
The price point makes it really accessible to everybody is kind of the idea.
Yeah.
It's taking that high-end product and really making it something that everybody gets to experience and something that's very walkable too. You pop in, you grab something, you walk out the door, you're on your way to Music on the River, right? We're trying to make it so it becomes a very hustle and bustling, people in, people out, you know, that sort of kind of vibe to it because it seems more lively that way. People on the streets, people moving around. I've watched it happen in Covington. Main Strasse is night and day different than it was 10 years ago,
Sure.
right? We see that because all these businesses that come in there, a lot of them are pop in, pop out. People are out, people are driving through. It has an exciting, kind of lively vibe to it, and that's what we're trying to kind of bring to that particular part of the square.
It would be excellent to, you know, have some table space. I noticed there was like some patio area, you know, during the summer months. That's great. I do not think that space is big enough to really put any sort of like sit-down area. I think a rail along the windows, let people get something kind of quick and easy. If you could think of like a boutique Dairy Queen, but with some other offerings, things like that. You know, generally, I've done really well in business by listening to the people that come in my doors and hearing what they want. You know, conceptually, I have an idea of like what I'd like to push out. I did provide a small menu that I came up with just to kind of get it off the ground. There would be more food added to that, but one of the best ways is by listening to the people that come in. You know, if you don't do that and you're too, you know, to the ground on your concept, and you're not willing to listen to the community, I think it just lowers your success rate.
The concept also allows for flexibility too, as far as even a moving menu, moving price points. You know, we can, because of the concept itself, it does allow us to expand or restrict the menu as appropriate, also expand and restrict price points. We have a lot of flexibility with the concept, and I really think it's something that the community needs down there. I think it's a really good,
My
great idea.
goal when developing this, ours, was not to bring something into Lawrenceburg that already exists. I want to be original. I want something that Lawrenceburg can be proud of. You know, I'd love to tell you guys, I attached a few things that I looked at for inspiration. I'd love to tell you guys, like, just go look at this concept and that's what it is. I don't want to do that. If we do something original in the town, that gives a better opportunity to draw people in because they want to see the thing that doesn't exist elsewhere, right? You know, I think that was really important for me, and I hope that whatever you guys decide on, it is an original concept, because I think that's going to be the best thing for the town, you know? Do something that nobody else has to get them into the square, you know? Questions? Everybody good?
What type of time frame are you looking at as far as renovations go and then the actual opening?
I'll be very upfront with you. I would love to hit that, you know, 6/1 deadline. I don't know if it's realistic. I attached 2 schedules for that reason, to give myself an extra 30 days. A lot of the things are contingent on things like inspections, You know,
What we find when we open up walls, there's a lot of.
it shouldn't need a
roadblocks.
lot of
You never know.
remodeling,
You
but I will be very vocal about that.
Oh, okay.
I don't think 6-1's realistic. I think you could open 6-1 maybe in a less operational capacity,
Yes.
like something to the effect of maybe you don't have your liquor license done yet. That doesn't mean you can't do sandwiches, right?
Or ice cream, right.
I think it's great to get those doors open sooner than later. You know, every month you miss of revenue is a bad thing for a business, and that's important, right? But there could be some code issues. There could be, you know, the certificate of occupancy. I know that y'all in this room will push a lot of stuff through, but there's still state inspections, you know? I don't think you guys control the state of Indiana. Maybe you can make some calls and get things done, but there's a lot of things that can hinder you. And I would be remiss. I'm very confident in my ability to get something like this done, but I don't want to
Overpromise.
yeah, exactly. You know, I think it would be important to get those doors open sooner than later. Try and be there through the music on the river, even if it's something that, you know, isn't completely open. I'm a little hesitant from a certain, I am so sorry. Little hesitant to open without having the full concept done, because sometimes that's not the best for a grand opening, but it gets your feet wet, you know, and like starts letting people come in the door. I would be open to that. But yeah, I did attach that second schedule just in case, because, you know, you just never know what's going to happen.
We'll do our best, but we can,
Yeah.
it's
There's-
hard to make promises until we really get into it and get our feet wet.
Closing dates as well, you know, if you finance the project 45 to 60 days most of the time, unless you're buying it cash. I know that everybody on that side of the aisle probably will have some work to do to get it closed as well. You know, the city doesn't just sign off on it and say, here's your building,
Right.
I'm assuming. So yeah, I mean, I'd love to get it up and going by that date, but I think there's some stuff, you know, preventing that.
And just to speak on the financing piece as well, we've actually financed other buildings through this lender before, so we're very familiar. She's got copies of our books, so she provides these letters of intent. It's not like she's just shooting in the dark. She's worked with us.
Debbie Huffman with FCN, I think a lot of people probably have dealt with her. She's a very well-known commercial lender with FCN Bank in this area.
Just so you know, we have 2 minutes left.
Sure, yeah.
If you want to, if there are any final questions?
Yeah.
Yeah, please, ask
Or if you want
questions.
to make your final.
Everybody's good?
Hours of operation?
Hours of operation, I'm open to that, kind of similar to menu development and the business itself. You know, if it seems like people want something open a little bit earlier, that's great. If they want it open later, I was just down here the other night and there wasn't a lot of things going on. I mean, I'm a night owl, and I've bartended for years and years and years before when I first opened my business. You know, I like a 7-day-a-week structure personally, because your mortgage does not change depending on how many days you're open, personally. I would like to add to the things to do down here, not be open 2 days a week and, you know, or only during stuff. I'm not sure if you guys have any metrics for what's required if you're gonna do a project like this, but, you know, I'm
Like a
open.
12 to midnight, 2 to midnight, something like that, to give us somewhat of a late night option after music on the river, so people can swing by and grab some ice cream on the way home. That sort of thing is
Yeah.
around what we were considering, but obviously that's up to you guys what we're able to and are not able to do.
You guys are looking at 7 days a week. I mean, that's kind of your,
I do 7 days a week now.
Yeah.
A big thing for me, and that I want to get across to all of you, I care deeply about my employees and my staff. I want them to have a good livelihood. This is a really great way for me to offer more opportunity to people that work for me now, and also bring on better staff members. I shouldn't say better, but more. You know, it's important to keep people fed as much as it's easier to sometimes hire somebody at 15 hours a week and cut them when you want to.
Yeah.
I like having people that can feed their families based on, you know, what I'm paying them and that whole thing. Through owning the real estate with this, you know, if the business isn't doing the best, it gives us a good safety
We have some
net.
flexibility. We
Yeah,
can pay more
exactly.
if we're heavy
So
into the rental property.
to kind of allow it to grow. But I can't stress it enough. People is why I work in the industry that I do. It's hospitality. I want to support the people that work for me. I don't care to make a gajillion dollars. I just think it's kind of cool and fun.
His
So
employees also have a lot of expertise. I mean, people from the butcher shop would be able to come down here and have this thing right away, right? Like, we've got people that we can plug and play and not have to take 3 months hiring people all at
yeah.
once.
But closing remarks.
I think, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, that last statement that I said, very important to me that you guys understand that. For those of you in this room that don't know me, that is what makes me tick, is people.
How
So
would you guys promote yourself or show for advertisement?
I'm going to flip a sign in front of, no, I'm just kidding. Social media, Instagram, I work with some marketing people, branding people, design. I mean, I'm not an expert on that, but like there's 1,013 ways. I can probably text 200 people right now and say, hey, I'm opening up a spot because I have so many connections in the community, and that place would be packed. So I think the best marketing is a multitude.
Yep.
All right, we'll go ahead and wrap it up.
Cool.
Gentlemen, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Well, you got anything else you would like to say?
Other than all those forms of advertisement, Lenny, you don't know how to find.
I was going to ask about food, but that's all right.
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Time,
Very well, very well done.
More ice cream.
It's in the,
Yeah. Oh, I know it's in there, but.
All righty. Next, we have the Detmers. They'll be presenting next. We'll give you 15 minutes, and feel free to go ahead and start.
Okay. We have a couple of visual aids.
Uh-oh.
So thank you guys for taking some time to listen to our proposals. Since you guys all have copies of our submission, we just wanted to give you an overview of the key points of our proposal, and then we're obviously happy to take some questions. Speaking personally, this is our first time making a proposal like that, so hope you forgive me for being a little nervous. We've been part of the downtown cafe scene for about 6 years now as part of Funny Farm Coffee Company. We've witnessed some huge changes downtown, all for the better. We have personally served more and more customers, and at the same time have seen an explosion in the number of local tourists, or number of tourists who come through town. We've seen great restaurants added, interesting retail open up, and ourselves have gained some company in the quick service meal space. Despite all the new faces and spaces, downtown really lacks a truly kid-friendly place where families can comfortably gather and where local kids can come hang out. We regularly have visitors from out of town come into the shop, and one of their first questions is, after getting their latte, they ask where the closest ice cream shop is. And they're always surprised there isn't one downtown. We've also had a lot of local families, when they come into the coffee shop and they bring their families, we try what we can, but it's just not a kid-friendly space, unfortunately. They always are looking for an area that's specifically for kids, and personally, we don't have that space for them. And that's why we're presenting you with Shorty's. Shorty's combines premium ice cream, specialty boba teas and lemonade, and scratch-made street tacos into a comfortable, colorful destination for local families, students, employees, and visitors. We're envisioning a space that's got a lot of personality and a big heart for the community, a place that's welcoming, comfortable, and lively, suited as much for an after-game celebration for the soccer team as a quick lunch for a downtown worker. We plan to dedicate as much space as possible to indoor seating while allowing enough room for several employees to work comfortably behind a counter. There are in the packet some pretty basic renderings of a layout, but we do feel like they give an idea of how we'd be able to utilize this space and balance that between the need for food prep, but also we want to definitely have a space for plenty of customers to come in and hang out. Fortunately, the building's also located on a corner lot. There is a lot of room for seating outside. We found at Funny Farm, as soon as that weather gets nice, people are so excited to have some outside seating. The bonus is that it's got that great view of the Civic Park stage, which we'd be happy to take advantage of. We have a copy of our menu provided. We do have a few categories of offerings. Ice cream does have a niche market, but we wanted to make sure we included enough different options to kind of fill it out so that we have people giving people more than one reason to come in. So we do have several categories to suit different kinds of customers. Our first signature item really would be the loaded sundaes. These are giant, like a 16-ounce sundae, jammed with ice cream, a variety of toppings, and there's, like I said, there's a menu in there that kind of gives you our initial offerings there. We have previous experience working with Hershey's ice cream. We're very happy with the quality of their products and the amount of choices. So that would be who we would continue with. We've already had a conversation with them about resuming business with them. They do have a local distributor out of Xenia, so they're really easy to reach. So we keep it kind of local with that. The next item is Bursting Boba, and they're drinks that are pretty popular with both teens and adults. If you're not familiar, boba is it's like a small bubble. Sometimes it's called bubble tea. It's filled with a flavor syrup. And so we have a menu of choices that would either be a green tea based or a lemonade based with the boba and then other flavor syrups. One thing we've learned at Funny Farm is adding those sweet drinks, because we are obviously a coffee shop, but once we started adding that Lotus menu, we have opened up a whole nother wave of customers who don't drink coffee. So I think those sweet, fruity drinks are definitely popular with people. Then we decided to offer food. We wanted to go with street tacos. We learned from experience ice cream definitely has a seasonality to it. That's just a fact. So we wanted to make sure we do have a food item to keep people coming back throughout the course of the entire year. Tacos are very quick to prepare for customers coming in on a lunch break. They're different from other options downtown. I think it's one of those kind of food options that's very trendy, I guess. That's kind of I think a draw for a lot of people, something with that kind of flavor. In addition to a full menu of regular items, we'd also have seasonal specials. For each category, kind of like we do at the coffee shop, we have a couple seasonal drinks. We do our different Lotus menu. And those are the things that will keep people coming back. We have, at the coffee shop, those seasonal drinks. I mean, there's some people who I think come in, just to drink those. It's whatever that choice is. So it gives us a continuing variety and a reason to come in. We're also working on a menu of kid-friendly items that fit with our theme. The price point on this, we're really trying to keep it affordable. I think that, we do it with the coffee shop too, where, you want to keep something affordable so that people can keep coming back. So we will be working hard to keep our prices very fair so they're affordable enough for families to come in. Somebody can bring their whole family and get ice cream or tacos or all of the above, while also covering our overhead. If we're approved for the project, one of the first things we'd tackle is hiring. We came in with the planning stages at Funny Farm. Our business plan said we were going to have 4 employees. We had 15, basically, within the first few months. So we do anticipate similar numbers at Shorty's. I think the process will be much easier now. We have had if you ever in, you see the same faces. We have a really good staff. They're very dedicated to us. We have a few who just keep coming back off their breaks. So we do have an ability to kind of cultivate a steady workforce in our businesses. So I think that it'll actually be easier to find some staff for Shorty's than for the coffee shop. The coffee shop closes at 5. Shorty's we definitely be open later at night because people are going to be coming in for dessert. So we would plan on recruiting through Funny Farm, social media. We've had good luck approaching the local schools. Lawrenceburg High School is always great about posting for us. Our employees have we have great luck with our employee referrals. And then in addition, we'd be excited to offer the Funny Farm crew opportunities for leadership. So we would like to use our current staff also to help develop new staff at that location. So we do anticipate it being a pretty good source of employment for our local high school students, hopefully some college students. But one of our favorite things is helping to develop our young staff, getting to understand the work, how to work, and how to be a good worker. Social media promotion is obviously really critical. We would plan to market heavily through both Facebook and Instagram. If our proposal is selected, we would immediately create social media accounts for Shorty's. We can start promoting immediately. We have 2,500 followers, something like that.
Instagram, 5,000 on
5,000 on Facebook. So we got plenty of people watching us. So it's an easy way to get them excited and interested and kind of start that process of getting the buzz going right away. We'd provide updates and photos as we work toward opening to gain momentum for a successful start. Our marketing plan is also included in the packet. And then for the financials, we do plan on covering a majority of the cost through our personal funds. That's what we did with Funny Farm. It's worked out well for us. It makes it much more comfortable not to start out in debt. So we plan to start the same way with a new business. We do have some information. I think there's a preliminary approval in there for a bank loan if we need the additional funds. And so that's in the packet, as well as documentation of our personal financial status. And then we have the sales forecast that we worked with Jeannie Fowler on. We were pleasantly surprised when we started crunching the numbers to see that, with those 3 different sources of revenue coming through this business, it would appear to be a pretty profitable business right from the start. All right, now it's you.
Okay. I'm going to try to stay on script. Because I've done this before, and it ended weirdly. So I want to talk about the timeline, right? Like, it's a very aggressive timeline. So for me personally, the timeline is actually one of the most exciting parts of it, the challenge of getting it done in the amount of time. We finished 2 similar build-outs in the recent past under very similar circumstances, and I'm positive that we can get Shorty's open in a very meaningful and substantial way by the first concert, or June 1st, as quickly as possible. In August of 2020, we signed a lease with Tom and Linda Schneider down at the coffee shop with a directive from this board to be open by November 1st, and we crushed it. Like, we lined up all our vendors, got everything lined up, performed our task. Through that experience, we learned how to navigate through the permitting and licensing processes needed to be as efficient as possible. We've streamlined our hiring processes and how to get our branding in place. If you'll notice, we're already kind of working on that, trying to make a fun and unique place, but we can do it in a very short, flexible window of time. With the phase 1 offerings well underway, a strong visual concept in place, and a list of contractors who've helped us with our other 2 build-outs, they're ready to go. I've called everybody just in case something were to happen. Could you get us there? They're all behind us, ready to pull us through to the finish line. We have open accounts with restaurant equipment manufacturers and food supply vendors, so we just still directly deal with them every day at the coffee shop. They've got our back, and then I think we're offering a low-risk, high-reward proposition to meet the city's needs by activating one of the coolest spaces in downtown right next to the park. And we look forward to the challenge and believe that we have the drive, the funding, and ambition in place to do it. So just I'm going to try to do this.
You're fine.
To sum it up, I'm from here. I've seen the town come and go and grow into the coolest little town around. And we want to do it again, make a place that people want to be and be a part of the community. So I won't cry if you ask me questions, but I just had to get that out of the way. Sorry.
It wouldn't be a presentation.
I mean, I think
See, I tried.
Testament to the community and what everybody's done around here together, including the merchants and the leadership and the support staff like Main Street and all that. And I appreciate that. Goes deep to me too, bro. Who's Shorty?
I can tell this story. From our end of town, Mr. Martin, that owns the Trading Post, has this little chawini that he walks around. He has a note on his door that says, "Please knock before entering," right? As soon as we started thinking about the concept, it just blew my brains apart, saying, oh, we got to name it after Shorty. It'll be fun, exciting. We can kind of make it since we're doing street tacos, it kind of leans back towards another brand that was doing the Chihuahua thing back in the day when we were all kids. But it is Dick Martin's dog, and we were planning on making him a celebrity, social media reels.
I love that.
Logo wear. I mean, the whole goal is to be fun and
Irreverent.
yes,
Yeah.
just quirky, kind of like me.
And Funny Farm.
And Funny Farm, right? It's you can take yourself seriously and be but why? Have fun. So again, to have a kid's space and a young family kind of activated space down there on the edge of the Civic Park, I think we can just continue to draw people down there. Thanks, Brian.
We have 2 minutes left.
Sorry.
Are there any last-minute quick questions and/or you would like to leave the stage to?
What's your hours of service going to be?
We are going to, I don't want to necessarily commit to any defined hours, but our goal is to be open when people are leaving the restaurants to get dessert, so later into the night.
So you're going to be in the afternoon more?
Yeah,
Well, we'll be open because we're
for
going to have
lunch.
lunch
We have to be open
too.
for lunch. So a little bit before lunchtime through the evening crowds that come through.
And kind of like at Funny Farm, we'd be open, obviously, Music on the River, and like every single one of those events, we want to get those people coming in.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're open when people are out, so that's kind of our motive. If they're going to be out and spending money, we'll be open for you.
Mondays, a lot of things are closed on Monday.
Yeah, well, I mean, it took us a minute to get 7 days on Funny Farm, but we wanted to walk before we ran. I mean, we are, it's same thing over here. We're gonna need some time for the build out. There's a lot of like little phases that are gonna have to happen, and we will be as available as we possibly can as soon as we can.
But yeah, we have discovered recently, since we were open 7 days at Funny Farm, like, it took a minute, but people are interested in Mondays. Like, they're coming around, you know,
We
so.
just needed to walk before
Yeah,
we
no,
ran.
yeah.
And now we're running.
I know in the beginning, I mean, I was on the board that you know, when you guys voted, 2020, and one of my concerns was the hours of operation. And the amount of days you guys were open, but you guys are 7 days a week operation now, right? at
Yeah.
Farm? You know, that's the thing to me that's important, because there's no worse idea than coming down through town and you want to get ice cream and guess what, they're closed.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we've
You
seen
know,
that a lot.
To me, that's a big thing. But anybody else have any other comments or questions? If not, we're going to thank you for your time.
Cool.
Very
and
well
wish
done.
you the best of luck, and
Thank you.
we'll make a decision here next Thursday. Thank you, guys.
You know, while they're walking away, we've always been interested in, especially when we have the opportunity to participate or partner or invest in a business, to always want the business to be open 7 days a week, 6 days a week. I mean, those are the kinds of things that we've put in our agreements, development agreements and stuff. And, you know, and I think Mike said it right, you know, they'll find their place. They'll find their way to the hours that work for the products and services that they provide. And there's also a lot more people walking around downtown right now than there was
100%, yeah.
7 or 8 years ago.
Oh, yeah. They overcame and adjusted, so.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, appreciate those comments.
All right, next we have Mr. Anthony Schroeder. here.
Good evening. My name is Anthony Schroeder. I actually go by Tony. My son goes by Anthony, but thanks for your time tonight. I assume you all have copies of my presentation. Anybody need one?
Had them since Thursday.
Okay, wonderful. Basically, just to describe on the first page, our corporate entity, we operate a couple companies, one Schroeder Capital Partners, which buys real estate and redevelops it, and then Stronghold Restaurant Group, which owns 4 restaurants, Jolietta's being the last one, and I'm the major stockholder, my 2 boys. So that's who would be involved in this transaction. I do want to note that, you know, I looked at the appraisals, and, you know, I think the building's easily worth $340,000. That's what I offered. I've always tried to be fair to the city. I don't typically come with my hand out. I pride myself on doing my part and providing good businesses to the city, and I feel like that's enough. And so we'll continue to do that. As far as proof of financial ability, I do have a letter from Stifel Bank. That's my investment bank that I do business with. And the letter basically states that, hey, I have $500,000 in cash that I'll make available for this to pay $340 plus $160 to retrofit the building. So I think that that's really important. So tell you a little bit about the concept. We obviously opened Jolietta's. And since we're in limited time, I don't want to take a lot of time, but I have family in Italy. Anybody not know the story in Jolietta's? So I don't take too much time.
I don't know it.
Okay. I have family in Verona, Italy. Shakespeare wrote the story in 1500 about Romeo and Juliet. Juliet has a house there, even though it's a fictional story. And everybody goes to Verona, Italy to stand in line for hours to go up in Julietta's house. And they go look at her house. They go out on the balcony and kiss. You get a picture there. That's really important. And so my family, the Crevellinis, came over here in 1915, went to Norwood. Then we've been in Indiana. So that's what Jolietta's all about. If you go into Jolietta's, I spent 50 grand on that balcony to duplicate the balcony in Verona, Italy. We've got tens of thousands of dollars in ironwork that has a ladder with a family crest for the Del Scala family during the Middle Ages. So we have lots of artwork and original art of Romeo and Juliet. We have family recipes. So I tell you that there's a lot more than just a restaurant that we open. My son Anthony created all the recipes, all the food. He approves it. He walks around, talks to customers. I think you'll see a different kind of restaurant. His desire is to go into upscale restaurants. And so we got one challenge is space. We don't have enough space, even after doing all that. I spent over $1.2 million inside the building, another $500,000 to open the restaurant. And we want to do fresh gelato. We also want to do lunch or smaller size pasta that regular people can get into, more user-friendly. Probably our check average is right now is probably about $60 a person, and that's not really what we're trying to open here. We're trying to open something that would be more friendly to the average everyday consumer, and something that people would use multiple times a week versus less often. So what we want to do with that space, we want to match the business and call it Romeo's Gelateria. And so we want to complement that, have a sidewalk setting. We would make fresh gelato there and sell it. Does anybody know about gelato? If you go to Italy, you love gelato, that's what you get. It's basically an Italian-style ice cream, but it has a lot more milk content. It does have more sugar, a lot of different flavors, but it's really popular, and I think that would be unique. There's ice cream all over the place, but I believe people will drive to Lawrenceburg to have gelato. On top of that, we make all pastas, fresh-made pastas in our restaurant from scratch. That was what my son Anthony wanted to do. We would move the equipment there so we could make the pasta in that restaurant. It would free up additional space for that. And then we would sell pasta. You could go in there like with a pasta bowl, get a sauce and a protein and something that would be very affordable for everyday clientele. Secondly, another one of our key products is spritzes. Anybody ever have an Aperol spritz? If you go to Italy, this is what you're going to drink. Lots of them, and people like them. They're bubbly, colorful. We have some original flavors at Giulietta's, but I would drink. It's an adult refreshing beverage, and we would dream about selling those there if that's getting the license and all the things that we would need to be something different. And I also dream about probably selling desserts, possibly Italian wines. At Giulietta's, we have 60 Italian wines in that beautiful safe. If you haven't gone in there, you can go and see them in the safe. And so with the right licensing, we might do that. So see it as a marriage between two things, but very separate businesses. I would tell you, and I would want to say it is really important to us because we need more space. We need more space in our kitchen, and we're doing everything from scratch, and you might say, well, why didn't you think about that? And it's just the way it is. You don't recognize what you're going to do and how much space it's going to take, but hey, we used someone to design that for us. We did the best we could, and we changed over and over and over again, and here it is. But everything's great. The restaurant's doing really well. We've got all 5-star reviews, and so we're really happy where we're at. We're not fully, I only bring it up just so you know that I wouldn't be here if I wasn't so excited about what we've accomplished and what we're going to do, okay? So this is just a little transforming of the space. I think it's pretty easy to see. There is equipment that we would be putting in there. There's a back room for fresh gelato. I talked to Brian when I looked at it. I'd love to be able to get a walk-in cooler either in the building or in the backyard. We would figure that out, but it's not paramount. We wouldn't have to have that to utilize the space, but it would be something that we would really care about. Something else I want to talk about that I think would be really important is walk-up service windows, if we were allowed to do that. If you look at the 2 windows on the side, when I look at big events, we would probably try to keep people from going inside the building, and we would have them walk up. We would turn those into, one would be gelato, one could be Aperol Spritz. We could, if that business expanded, we could even do things with pasta, them walking in. But a walk-up service window, I think, would make a lot of sense in the community versus everybody going in and out of there. And especially, to me, to keep people outside and to walk around the community with their gelato or their Aperol Spritz. Roadblocks address. I think this is really important. To me, I think one of the challenges with that property is it's kind of small. It's probably a lot of money for someone to buy. It needs something to keep it open every single day, in my opinion. I know the previous owner had a catering business. I think the difference is we have 4 restaurants, and that we can make things in that back room that we would not only sell in our restaurants, but we would sell in that location, but something different and unique. And I think that's really important because it means someone would need to be there every day. It would be a live business. It has reason to support itself until we would build out a retail business that would make a lot more sense. Talk a little bit about our team experience. Personally, I think this is really important. We have over 35 years of demonstrated success in the food processing business. And I sold to restaurants my entire life. Our company did. I understand that. I've owned restaurants for 7 years. As far as a management team, our management team has run Carrabba Grills, 15 TGI Fridays, opened the Hofbrauer House, in Covington, opened 2 other restaurants like that. You know, I invest in winning managers. You won't see me, the only time you see me in the restaurant is eating. I don't do hard work, and that's because we invest in people that know what they're doing. I don't pretend to be that my expertise. So I say that to know that we're going to put the right people in these businesses to make sure that they operate. I will tell you, I do have to say, I think I'm pretty good at making money, that I've proven that. And when you think about this city and taxes, do you want a failure? Or do you want somebody who can take a property and make money at it? And I think that's who I am. I've spent over $4 million on commercial properties myself since 2019 in this area. That doesn't include the property. That included me taking it and making it a better place on my own. You talk about, well, does he run good businesses? Well, our 4 restaurants have over 3,900 reviews. We have a 4.6 star rating. 4.2 is considered average, and 4.6 represents superior performance. And I can also, you can check with the health department. We have excellent ratings with all the health departments, okay? I'm going to skip to some of the things why I think this is important, and I think that's really with proof. I've not only developed restaurants, but my specialty is making viable businesses. If you look at Julietta's, I'll have about $2 million into that business. And guess what? If it would fail, we would do something different, though it won't fail, because I'm committed. And I have the capital resources. I have 0 debt. None of my properties have debt. I have probably 25 properties and 4 restaurants, 0 debt. And so we're well capitalized. I think that that's really important. You look at the Hoosier Ice House. When I bought that, I put $350,000 into that business. If you went into that business early on, you saw that we weren't doing very well. Now you see that we're doing very well. We've over 300 seats. We added a pavilion in the back. I just share, I know how to turn around a business. I know what to do to make it right. And I think that that's really important, that someone demonstrates that experience in a business. Proof 124, the reality, when I bought that business, the margins were like this. We've increased the sales 35% since I bought it. I spent $250,000 putting the upstairs in there. I put 2 new draft systems in there. You can see in my presentation. I've never come to the city for a dime, not a dime. I wouldn't think of it. I appreciate the citizens of this city and the taxes that they pay. They don't need to give them to me. The Heben Grill, that was my first restaurant. I put over $250,000 into that restaurant. And I would tell you, right now we're adding 35% capacity to that. We're renting the space next door, we're investing, we're growing. Every one of our restaurants I'm putting money into. Did you see the $16,000 in lights I just put in the front of Proof to make it beautiful at night? I just did that. 7 West High I own. It's a salon, and I own the apartments upstairs. It's beautiful. 9 West High was a dump when I bought it. It's beautiful. I put $120,000 in that. 23 US 50, which is a business I own 40% of called Gravity. That's next to the Great State Line restaurant. It was falling down. If you look at that, that's a viable business, a very successful business. And I also put quite a bit of money, $200,000 in Jameson Strip Mall where Snappy's is. And I don't typically sell anything I buy, but because the Snappy's people bought that from me, but I put quite a bit of money in that. So I'm just wanting to give you examples of, 1 minute, great. I'm wanting to give you examples that if I also have probably 25 residential properties. In every situation, I make them nicer. I don't know if I make any money on residential properties because everything's so expensive, but I refuse to give tenants junky properties. So I just want you to know that if you give us that property, we'll take care of it. We'll figure out how to make it profitable, and you won't have to talk about it again. You'll never have to talk about that property and what you're going to do about it again. And that would be my commitment to you. Okay? Any questions?
Any questions for Mr. Schrader? Or comments? Not? Thank you for your time, and thank you for your presentation.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Tim.
Appreciate you, Tony.
Can we just take them all? Can we just take them all?
I know.
Yeah.
Isn't it nice to be able to sit back and review?
Amazing.
No, not
wanting
really.
to do.
Yeah.
It's nice, but it gives you a headache because they're pretty competitive.
All right, Mr. Rezzo.
Hi, can you hear,
Your time, 15 minutes.
can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Good. Thanks for letting me be here and explain. Yeah, Bob Rezzo is my name. I'm owner of Rezzo Engineering and multiple commercial and restaurant properties in Lawrenceburg. I'd encourage you, if you already haven't, everybody to read my proposal. It has a lot of information in it regarding our properties. And I won't bore you by saying the same things again, but I'm not a big public speaker, but I'm just going to say a few things. And I have a passion for restaurant properties and a passion for renovations of buildings. And a lot of it's been done in here in Lawrenceburg and other places. But just briefly tell you, I got a passion starting with restaurants. When I was 12 years old, I worked in my father's, in the kitchen in my father's restaurant tavern, in a restaurant tavern. I worked with my mother. I was 12 years old, worked with my mother, 2 aunts. We were very famous in the city for our fish dinners on Friday night. And I'd peel potatoes, made French fries, made coleslaw. And I just was started at 12 years old and been kind of have a passion for it ever since. And the rest of my family is, my grandparents were immigrants from Europe. They were legal immigrants, came over from Europe. They both started restaurant things as well. Did successful jobs at it. And one family, my grandmother's family had, my grandfather had a saloon or tavern restaurant facility, and he and his 2 brothers worked there as well, or 2 sons. My 2 uncles worked there, that family. And then my other grandfather, my mom's father, he came from Pennsylvania and started a harness shop, a duck farm, and a saloon, and very successful as well. And I've learned how to work hard by their examples of just work hard and you can accomplish things. I'm very proud of what they've done and proud of what I've done as well. So I have probably in Lawrenceburg, I've renovated probably 20 buildings on Walnut Street, about 20 buildings on High Street, including multiple projects in the library, projects on the old Jesse Hunt House, the corner, Indiana's first three-story building. Worked on that for him. Turned into now the bank. Vista Bank's there, but multiple projects all the way down both sides of the street, and very successful and accomplished, I think, a lot of renovation of old buildings that just needed some help, actually including the clerk treasurer's office across the parking lot. That was a building that needed some help. We renovated that into the offices. It's a very successful operation there across the parking lot. Then in restaurant properties, I've done work for probably 40 restaurants, renovations, and design work for our company in both Lawrenceburg, Aurora, Greendale by the cinemas, properties there, Greendale up on top of by the entrance at Hidden Valley Lake, all over northern Kentucky, Cincinnati downtown, over the Rhine, all the other districts in Lawrence, multiple districts there. So I'm very familiar with restaurant restorations and renovations, and it's a kind of a passion for me, and I enjoy doing it and seeing it be successful. So my proposal is to purchase the building here in Lawrenceburg, former Parkside Market, and actually did work for the Parkside Market when it was opened. I did design work for them. Unfortunately, I couldn't stay and didn't stay, but I'm familiar to have drawings for helping them. We actually did some drawings for the Juliet as well, planning commercial building, that building, all the building permits and plans for both of those projects. But anyway, I'd like to see Lawrenceburg succeed, done multiple works. Couple things, I did all the multiple street projects in Lawrenceburg, not counting restaurants, but I did, and buildings, but I did street projects for most of the streets in downtown Lawrenceburg. Relocated or brought new storm water, sewer, and sewer, sanitary water, so you can develop all High Street, including the event center. We helped relocate the railroad through Lawrenceburg so it could get to the distilleries and still not be affected. So you can build the Ivy Tech, you can build a parking garage and all that. So if we didn't get that railroad relocated and built a new, designed a new building or a new bridge across Front Street, all that wouldn't be happening. So I'm just proud of what we've done for Lawrenceburg. I'd like to keep it happening so it can be successful. But anyway, my project here at the Parkside Market is I'd like to make it a Lawrenceburg chili place. I mentioned in my book, but our family has a very good recipe for chili, very successful, has won first place in competition, and I'd like to bring that chili to Lawrenceburg, and I feel it would draw people to Lawrenceburg, multiple people, bring good revenue to the city, and good customers for this area. I'm planning on designing it, making it very successful, so you can eat in and dine out, either way, take out. So I, again, didn't want to talk a lot, but I'm open for questions, if you guys have questions on what I'd like to do.
Questions for Mr. Rezzo? Any comments or?
So Bob, when you say Lawrenceburg chili, you're talking about like chili, cheese conies, all that kind of stuff?
Yes, chili, actual chili. You can have it, if you dine in, you can have it in a bowl. If you take it out, you get to carry out. But it's actual chili, very pleasant, mild chili. Not going to kill people by eating it. Then the chili dogs, bratwurst, beer brats, all that. I think I make a very good chili dog myself. I enjoy it, and it's very popular. But I want the whole full works.
Are you going to have ice cream of any kind or anything like that over there? Ice cream?
Ice cream?
Mm-hmm.
Hadn't thought about ice cream. If it's of any value, I don't mind doing it. I'm very flexible.
I mean, it's going to be pretty hot in the summertime, and eating that hot chili
No,
You
it's
have
not
to have
hot
something
chili, it's
cool
very
down.
mild.
I'm not meaning hot, I'm just meaning, it's gonna be warm,
Oh,
hot
yeah.
outside.
I don't mind doing ice cream as well.
Yeah, I didn't know if you had that in
I'm open,
there.
open for options to add to it, but I want it to be very popular. People will come and say, oh, I want to come to Lawrenceburg Chili and see it. And the fact that you have venues out there, will draw people, and we want to draw more people
Right.
because of what we do. But chili or ice cream's great. If somebody has more ideas, I'm open to adding it. I'm not locked
Just
into
asking.
anything. Yeah.
You plan on keeping this a family-owned operation, right, where your family would run the business?
Not really. I would get somebody that would be comfortable with. I could work with them and would work together. I don't want to be in there
You
running
don't
the
want to get
kitchen.
in the restaurant business?
No, I'd be starting it.
Similar to what we've done, some of the other projects we've done recently,
Yes.
the Ice House and the Proof.
The same as I'm doing with Proof, as an example of the ice house. But
I just wanted to make sure I was clear on that.
no, I'm not going to be in there running it or my family, but I want to make sure it's successful. I wouldn't walk away from, I'm not even walk away, period.
Want to make sure it's in good hands.
Make sure it works fine. But as an example with the Proof building, it was empty building when we started. 3 people tried to renovate it and were unsuccessful. We're the next one that tried, and I think it's turned out very well. It's a very popular place for Lawrenceburg.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm proud of what I've accomplished for that, and same with the ice house.
Yeah.
So I like to do things that I can be proud of.
Yeah.
So,
Anybody else have any questions or any comments? If not, we'd like to thank you for your time.
sure.
Like I said, we got a lot to review and a little bit to
Yeah.
talk about, so
I'd like to help and make it very successful for the city. So,
thank you very much.
you're quite welcome. All right.
All right.
Everybody have a good evening.
Yeah.
All right. That does it for our presentations, as Mr. Weldon discussed. Maybe when we go home and get all the information out and digest it and read it, and, if we have any other questions or comments, sure we could email them over to Brian and Kelly, and they can get those answered for us. And then we'll meet again Thursday for our work session. I believe it's at 5, right?
That's
Starts
correct.
at 5. And, but as far as that goes, I believe that's everything as regards to the proposals that we got for 98 East High. Moving on, I would like to go ahead and get approval for the claims, which are properly certified. If we could get a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Fryman, Mr. Second, Mr. Schaefer with the second. Mr. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Opposed? All right, the ayes have it. Next, comments from the audience. At this point, anybody?
Mr.
Please come to
President,
the podium.
Mr. President, if I could, sorry, where Scott goes.
Oh, I'm sorry, well, go ahead.
Scott, you're great. So, if you look at I just pulled off the RFP scoring sheet and just made it a little more accessible for you guys to look at that. I sent it out last week, Brian. I don't know if you had a chance to send it I didn't have everyone's email address.
I just forwarded it to you, to Rudy and Janie.
Okay.
They were not included on that. I didn't
was gonna
realize
ask
that.
about that. I didn't
Yep.
see us.
So you
forward.
should have it.
You're great. And then Kelly can also get you a physical copy if you need to, but it is 2 scoring matrices that I really like that I've seen other municipalities use, and they kind of say the same thing, but in different ways, which I thought was a great opportunity to really think about what is important. And I know it's homework, but, on Thursday, if you can do your best to kind of bring these, so we have just a physical record of each person's individual deliberation process. Definitely feel free to reach out to Mr. Messmore and Ms. Hermish this week. Call them, text them, email them, stop over in person, because it's a big decision. I mean, I was personally blown away by everybody today. I mean, wow. So just to go through these really quickly, we've got development team qualifications and project concept and design. When you look at your scoring matrix A, those are both weighted 25 each, so that's 50% of 50 out of the 100 points, just because those are really encapsulates our 2 biggest criteria. What's this project and what's this team look like? Economic impact and revenue is the next highest weighted at 20, and then financial proposal 10. Timeline and deliverables is 15, and then the local initiative is 5. Use of local contractor suppliers, employees, services. That equals 100 at the top, and then the next matrix, which is B, again, kind of saying the same thing, but just in a different way to get our juices flowing. 25 points for the concept, 20 points for the team experience, 20 points for financial considerations, 15 points for need, 10 points for roadblocks addressed, so challenges addressed and how they will be overcome, and then 10 points for completeness, professionalism, and creativity of the proposal. So what you saw today in person, but also what you saw in terms of physical paperwork. 100 on top, 100 on bottom, you get a final score. And that just helps everybody kind of track their thoughts, and then we'll have you guys will bring that on Thursday. And I'll talk to Brian and Kelly, but because each of you will kind of have your own individual winner based on your scores and your reviews of each one, rather than just somebody randomly calling out, I want to vote for this, and do I have a second? We will tally up the scores and show who has the highest score based on everyone's sheet. If there's a tie, we'll say there's a tie, but then we would ask for a vote to select the proposal that had the highest overall score based on everyone's sheet, rather than just someone calling out, hey, I want to vote for this one, right? If there's a tie, then we would address that at that time, and you guys could choose between the two that tied. So that's kind of how we thought would be the most fair, because again, really great piece of property. Obviously people want it, and just fantastic proposals. And that's a testament to the work you guys have been doing for 10 years. You've made this city a place that people want to come and build wonderful things in. So that's awesome.
Yeah, it appears that one of the presenters might have had the same scoring sheet when they laid out their business plan.
They did. So this was in the RFP. So we put it out in the RFP already.
We kind of followed along that.
Yeah. I thought that was cool, because that's kind of like what we see at Plan Commission, where we have our things.
Because to me, it's still kind of subjective, very subjective.
Oh, yeah. That's what, you guys have a hard job. Don't get me wrong.
Yep.
But all in all, I think it was 5 great presentations, and like I said, I'm sure after everybody gets through the packets a little bit more in depth, and any questions arise, we know who to contact. I look forward to seeing everybody on Thursday. Dale, you done?
Tell you, Scott McLean, you all know me. You guys are blessed. I mean, first of all, you put together a package for people to have an opportunity to be successful. You got property to lease, and you got a business to run. And you got some good people there. I mean, all these people care. They're not just caring about the back pocket. They're caring about doing something for the city, which I feel, sincerely about that they all are here for us. You got a heck of a job ahead of you. But you did a great job of getting something out there. Look at 5 people who are serious. That's
They're
great.
all very local driven and already successful in our local, so I think we got a good mix there. I really do.
Hey, you were up here 10 years ago, Scott, just little young Scott, just wanted to come to Lawrenceburg and didn't know anybody.
I'm still young.
He just charmed the heck out of it. So you're part of this too, buddy.
Anybody else? Any comments?
My man with the hobby down the street.
If not,
I
we'll
just
go
want to
ahead.
say, I'm like Scott. I mean, but this is my second term, and I always love Lawrenceburg. But it's just mind-boggling how well we're doing, how we're growing, how you can come down here on the weekends and see people walking around.
Yep.
And just so many things going on. And it's going on through the week now. And it is, we've got a tough job right here. And it's pretty awesome. We got people that's very well qualified wants this piece of property. So, yeah. So you guys got a lot on you up there.
Hey, you don't either? No, the good thing is, unfortunately, there will be some people that probably aren't happy on Thursday because obviously not everybody can win, but, the good thing is we can pick the best and if another location was to open up, hopefully we could revisit it again and, have some competition and maybe even a little bit more variety. So I think we've got a good start here. So if no other questions, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Hold on.
Yeah, I have a question.
Oh, Becca.
Do you want me to come up? It's just a quick question.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes.
Rebecca Lovern from Lawrenceburg Main Street. My question is, how soon do we get to find out who you guys choose?
Thursday.
Thursday? So Thursday evening, it's open to the public?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
It'll be
Thank you.
televised and everything.
At 5? Is that
Yes, sir.
At 5 o'clock, yeah.
televised? What'd you
Right.
say?
Now,
That's
I got the first of the motion for adjournment.
So move.
Mr. Fryman. Second,
Second.
Ms. Schrabrus. All in favor?
Aye.
All righty.
I'm a little slow. Nobody says it right.
Thank you all.
Oh, my gosh.